So welcome, this is the end of 2024. We've tested a lot of things on the channel. I've had the chance to try some very expensive, very cheap things. I wanted to show you some of the things that I would actually spend my own money on. Some of the things that I feel like maybe have gone a little bit underneath the radar. Maybe people aren't talking enough about. So what are some of the best products from 2024? And I've got a few bonus options in the end as well. Licensing Windows is cheap and easy with whokeys.com, and if you use the code TN20 you get an extra discount. Complete the purchase, copy the key and paste it to the activation settings. And you're all done. Also check out their Microsoft Office 19 license and use the same code TN20 for the extra discount. Check out whokeys.com in the video description below. Firstly, I want to start by saying thank you to you if you've been part of this channel. We've come a long way since last year at this point. There's a lot of things that have changed. The team's grown, some of the things behind the scenes that you might not know. I'm very excited to see what 2025 is going to bring. But there's a few special people that I'd like to say thank you for, and some of the people that I've noticed in the comment section that have been very active. So firstly, Wirehead, thanks for always being there for the live streams and on the comments. Very positive guy. I can also see a lot of comments from @HDRPC, and as always Cheekster777, who always seems to be one of the first guys to comment on any of the videos. But I also want to say thank you to some of the partners that I've had on the channel. I want to start with ASUS, George, Matthew and Emma from ASUS. Big thanks to you, and Caleb from HQ. Massive thanks for just being super nice to work with and partnering up with the channel. Secondly, I want to say thank you to AMD and Joe from AMD, as well as Katharina, who works from Havas Media agency. Super big thanks to AMD as well. I want to say thanks for Intel, Bridget and Mark from Intel. Ivanki, who does this awesome doc that's just off the shot in there. Super nice guys to work with. Tina from Ivanki, thank you. Whokeys and Christine from Whokeys, thank you very much. We've got Gigabyte and Jack from Gigabyte. We've got Trikes and Lucius from Trikes. I want to say thanks to the Howl team, Kevin, who's left now, Max and Natalie in there. Also big thanks to LG, Dell and Lenovo. Fractal and Eric from Fractal. The Newegg team and some of the stuff that has changed in there. But Wayne, if you're still watching the channel, thanks very much for you. I want to say thanks to Zotac and Matt, who looks after Zotac, as well as Samsung and the same Matt, I appreciate you all. Thermal Grizzly and Scott, thanks very much. My idea and our IFA trip 2024 was very, very interesting. Artlist and Motion Array and Leah from there. ASRock and their partnerships. Geekcom, Yoga from Geekong, and finally Nvidia and Palit and Power Collar and some of the other partners that I've probably forgot to mention. I am very grateful for all of you guys for providing samples so I can do helpful content, or sponsoring some of the videos so that we can make some other very interesting content. I really am very, very grateful for you. But now the products that I would actually spend my own money on. Number one is the MX Keys and the MX Keys S. You might have seen me use this all the time, and this is one of my favorite keyboards. Like, I've talked about keyboards before and mechanical keyboards, and I've been sent some very fancy mechanical keyboards, but I seem to go back to the Logitech one just because the keyboard layout, for example, like I've got this lo-fi, low profile one here. It just sounds very nice. It's really nice to type on. But I'm actually slower on there just because the numpad is kind of crushed with the arrow keys as well. So if I ever need to use the arrow keys to go through certain things, I'm often pressing something else because they're not separate. Now I know the Logitech is a little bit longer, but because of that, they just work better. Also, I found that the Bluetooth always just works on the Logitech. There's no issues with it. The lo-fi one here, sometimes I have to keep tapping, or the Bluetooth kind of goes on a standby or hibernate mode or whatever. Coming back to the Logitech keys, I've never had any issues. I think I'm the fastest in terms of work when working with this one. It's fantastic. Item number two kind of goes together with the Logitech, which is the MX Master. This is the MX Master 2. There is MX Master 3 and 3S now as well. The S stands for silence. So as you can hear, this one makes quite a loud click. The silent one is the new one that has a very satisfying silent click. I've got both of the editors on a silent MX Master 3S just because whenever they're clicking around and working, it's not actually gonna interrupt or annoy the other person in the room. Like, this just always works. Solid ones. I've used these for, I can almost say, a decade now. They're fantastic. Never let me down, that mouse. Then item number 3 is actually a little bit surprising, and I haven't talked about it recently on the channel, which is this guy here. This is the MacBook Pro M4 Max, and I've got the 128GB RAM version there. My kind of idea, or what I wanted to test, is that can this really replace my Threadripper persistent that's underneath the desk? That roughly costs about the same. And the annoying weird thing is, this laptop is so impressive, I cannot put it into words. I'm working on a full dedicated review of the MacBook Pro. It's been more than amazing. Anything I can throw at it, it seems to be working as good as the Threadripper workstation. The only downsides I can see with this are I'm a little bit more used to Windows, certain things, how they work. I'm saying the same things all the time. Windows snapping, no matter what app or third-party app I've used, it's not the same as on Windows. I like it a lot more on Windows. Secondly, 10 gigabit Ethernet is essential in my workflow, and I still haven't found a way how I can get it. Right now I'm using the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet that comes with the iVanke dock, but this laptop is just silent, super powerful, super long battery life. It is really a workstation like no other. If you are a creator who does video editing, photo editing on the go, it's one of the fast ones out there. In fact, in terms of photo editing, this guy is just the best thing that you can ever buy, just the fastest thing in the world, which is mental. It's a laptop, it is just insane. Item number 4, which is a little bit of a controversial one, is this guy here, the Intel 14900K. Now, I recently actually built another PC for our editor number 2, and it's running this exact CPU, which is the 14900K. And if you're a PC enthusiast, you know what's been happening with Intel, and you're thinking, why on earth would you be doing that? Now, the thing is, all of these issues are actually solved now through BIOS update. In terms of best bang for buck, the 14900K actually outperforms the 285K, the new version of this chip. The new version of the chip, really, there's nothing that really you need if you are a video editing and you want a workstation. This 14900K is just fantastic. Now you might be saying, why not go with the AMD? Now, I've got nothing against AMD, and AMD is great. The 9950X is an amazing CPU, and in a lot of CPU tasks outperforms the 14900K. But in a video editing workflow where you want the fastest workflow and you want to get the fastest playback speed, Intel QuickSync, there's nothing that can replace Intel QuickSync. That's why that 14900K has a special kind of place in our workflow here, because it still works. I've got both of the editors on 13900K and 14900K, and it just chews through everything that we need to use it for. It's fantastic. In terms of crashes, both of these systems super stable after the latest BIOS update. For months there's been no issues. I don't know, just seems to work for me very, very well. Item number 5 is this guy over here. Now, this has gone probably the most under the radar, and something that I didn't see people talk about it. Now, there was a little bit of a boom when the Asus ZenBook Duo came out, but after that, it kind of just was like, yeah, I don't know, something. But as a productivity laptop for somebody who's doing a lot of emails on the go, a lot of working, maybe something with spreadsheets, accountancy, or working on the go as a creator with touchscreen and so on. This is a very, very special laptop, and I'm enjoying this a lot. I like the keyboard. I like how the keyboard detaches with it. I love the 2 OLED screens, the form factor. There is nothing like that out there on the market. It is special. It's fantastic. I wish they would come out with a Lunar Lake option of this laptop where we have more efficient CPU power, because this one right now is the Core Ultra 100 series, and the battery life isn't that good. I'd like to see a Lunar Lake with maybe a combination of NVIDIA low-end dedicated GPU, like a 4060 or something like that. That would be absolutely insane on a laptop like that. But regardless, for productivity, I am enjoying this laptop so much, and I would actually consider buying one for myself. I know that even my accountant was very, very jealous of this, because they realized that this could be an absolute insane on-the-go laptop that they can work on and get so much screen real estate. On point number 5, I also can't not mention the Asus ProArt laptops. The new ProArt laptops, I'm enjoying them a lot. The P16 and PX13 and PZ13, the 3, very, very special. Now, the ARM and Snapdragon one, I think the battery life is insane, but the actual creative work on it, you can't really do anything. It's more like a just tablet in a very creative workflow. The PX13 and P16, they are amazing. They are super powerful AMD Ryzen laptops with NVIDIA RTX 4070 up to graphics, super powerful. We got the P16, we took it to IFA on our trip and we edited a bunch of videos on there on the go, and it just did a great job. Now, I do miss Intel QuickSync just because of our particular workflow with certain codecs that we're using, but regardless, you cannot not mention these laptops because they're fantastic. Then I want to talk about this that's behind here, which is the RTX 4070 Ti Super GPU. The 4070 Ti Super is a baby 4080 GPU. It is the same GPU die as a 4080, it's a cut down version, and it's the only 4070 with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. And often, because of the Super and the Ti and the 4070, there's so many 4070s out there, it kind of gets missed and, you know, confusing. Which one should I be getting? And TIs and Super, they're both like slapped in there. It's a confusing name. But if you can find, as a creator, an RTX 4070 Ti Super, this is a sweet spot of best bang for buck for creators because of the high VRAM capacity. If you want to get 16 gigabytes, you're going to have to go either higher, 4080, and it gets very, very expensive. This one is the nice sweet spot in there. And it actually performs really, really well. In terms of video editing, there is not that much difference between that and, let's say, 4080 and 4090 in most of the cases, unless you do very heavy GPU effects and you need the large VRAM. But for most people, I think the 4070 Ti, for example, for the creator, the 4900K system, I put the 4070 Ti, this exact palette one, in there just because that is like the sweet spot of what you need. And honestly, the other editor who uses a 4090, we can't seem to find a difference when actually editing on both of the systems. They just feel the same to me. When talking about GPUs, I feel like the Intel cards have gone a little bit under the radar, especially the new Intel Arc B580 that's coming out. I'm actually testing it right now, but so far right now, it looks very, very impressive. And if you're wanting a budget end system, maybe even go with the AMD CPU, but pairing it up with the Intel GPU, it's a really, really good combination for video editing and still getting quick sync. It's absolutely fantastic. And for price to performance, Intel is absolutely killing it. Better than AMD and NVIDIA, so I feel like maybe people aren't talking about it enough, but they are fantastic. Even the last generation A series cards, amazing. Item number 7, let's talk about cooling. And there's been a lot of very interesting coolers released, but to me, one of the ones that have gone kind of under the radar, I wish maybe we talked more or used it more on our channel, is the Arctic Liquid Freezer. For the price of $90, I think what I can see right now it going on Amazon, it's ridiculous in terms of the quality and cooling performance. Like cooling performance, right up there. Very long warranty for this as well, and as you can see, it's got lots of rewards. It's one of the best coolers that you can get for the money. It's absolutely fantastic. It comes with the actual contact frame as well if you're using Intel CPUs, LG 1700 or the 1851. It's one of the best coolers you can get, and you're not gonna be disappointed when going with this one. Quiet, performance, amazing. The other cooler that is really, really good from Arctic that I feel like I wish we did a build with it is the Arctic Freezer 36, especially the black version. For around $30–40, that cooler performs incredibly well. Just go have a look at our video. It performed so well that I was just impressed. You can put a very high-end CPU on this budget cooler. It looks fantastic, performed really, really well. I was just super impressed, and I think a lot of people will probably like this. The quality is good. It's fantastic, honestly. Number 8, PC cases. There's 2 that I want to mention, and I didn't have space to actually put them on the table, but one of these we're using as our main editor PC case, and then the other one is one that I feel like is often not like coming up on Amazon's most sold list, but is fantastic. I'm talking about number 1, the Fractal North XL. It's a beautiful case. We did a review of this on the channel. If you're looking for something minimalistic, something that looks like a furniture, actually has features and cooling capability, the Fractal North, to me, is just number 1 spot. It just looks fantastic, amazing. White or black, both of them, mwah. And then the second case is the ProArt case, the ProArt PA602. And that one is a little bit expensive, but in terms of the cooling capacity and the features of the case, if you're going with a full ProArt system like we did on the channel, it just worked really, really well. The case is really quiet. If you want to up the fan speed very, very easily, you can do that. I feel like it's an amazing case for creators who don't mind maybe a little bit of a bigger case, but just want a really good performance and solid build quality. There's nothing like the PA602. Number 9, something that's gone under the radar and didn't get as many views on the channel, is the NAS from QNAP. I'm talking about the Thunderbolt NAS, which we are using and we've implemented from our workflow ever since we did a review of this. And this guy has performed amazing. I cannot tell you how much this changed our workflow and everything. It's a fantastic piece of kit. And now I can't live without it because I'm connecting the MacBook to that one through the 2.5 gigabit LAN. I wish it was 10 gigabit because you could use 10 gigabit as well. But our editors, both of them using Thunderbolt 4, connecting to the NAS, and that's where all of our editing projects are on. It just works amazingly. I've had no issues with it, and ever since sorting some of the loudness issues, go check out my full kind of review of 3 months later of it. It's been fantastic and I couldn't live without it. I feel like it's something that people think, I don't really want to spend time or money on, but if you have at least 2 people editing, if it's just you probably don't need it, but if you have 2 editors or 2 people accessing same massive large storage, it's a fantastic device that I can highly recommend. Now you might be saying, why don't you go with the Asus Store Flash Store? You can. There is the cheaper options available, the Flash Store 12 Gen 1 and Gen 2. But if you go with a Gen 2 and thinking that you're going to be using USB-C or USB 4 on the USB-C and getting super fast transfers to your PC, it's not actually going to work. Right now, there is an issue with AMD drivers USB 4 with the AMD CPU that's going on there. So you're not going to be able to connect it over USB-C or USB 4. It is just not working for now. Once AMD releases an update, then Asus can actually provide support for that. But it's kind of a future promise that is not working right now. That's why it doesn't really work USB-C. 10 gigabit LAN actually works on there, so it can be used over LAN, if you wanted to, because it's got that in there as well, and it's a little bit cheaper. I highly recommend checking out the video of 3 months later with that QNAP NAS, because there I'm giving some of the alternative SSD options, because the ones that I'm using are a little bit more expensive, and I think you could actually save some money. Number 10 is the chair that I'm actually using. This is the Fractal Refine chair, and I am so happy with this chair. I used to have, and I've tried lots of different chairs. I've got this version and a mesh version. I actually like the mesh version a little bit more, particularly me. My editors don't like that as much. They prefer this one more, but it is a fantastic chair and I can highly recommend it. It's not cheap, but it's something that I'm using every single day for hours and hours, and I can recommend it. Number 11, last one, and then I'll talk about the bonus, which is this new smartphone. I had a very old smartphone and I did a ton of research which smartphone to go for and what to get. I believe this is for the best one for the price and what I'm looking for. I'm telling you a few reasons why. This is the Pixel 8 Pro and the 512 gigabyte version. Now, the new one, Pixel 9 Pro XL, would be literally double the price, if not more, for the same. And I was looking at what's the actual difference. The actual difference is really maybe AI, slightly faster, but mostly the design. And I thought paying double the price for the design, not really worth it. Especially double the price is half the capacity of the storage. And then I was looking at the 8 Pro and I thought, oh yeah, it looks a little bit older in terms of design, but I can get a 512 gigabyte version. During Black Friday sales, I pulled the trigger and I couldn't be happier. The camera's amazing, it's fast, it's just clean, it just works. So if you're looking for a smartphone, it's amazing. I highly recommend that one. And now 2 bonus options if you're a creator. I'd love to know your opinion on this one. Number 1 is this one. This is DJI Pocket 3, Osmo Pocket 3. And this has been an amazing piece of kit in my workflow. Usually I had to pull one of those cameras and get some B-roll or whatever. But if I'm doing just something and I need to quickly shoot something or show something very interesting, maybe during the testing I'm seeing that this SSD has a random light on it and I want to show inside the PC case, it's so nice to do with this one. It's smooth footage, 10-bit, 4K, super easy to use, very intuitive. It is amazing. This has really changed some of the way how I'm seeing filming things and, you know, in the workflow. I am doing certain things because of this camera, because previously I thought I can't be bothered taking this camera and I'm trying to find an easier way to film the video. Now with this, I know that I can bring this whatever with me, and it's really, really nice. Super happy with it. And I've got the creator combo that also comes with the actual wireless microphone. It's fantastic. The second piece of kit as a bonus is this here. This is the Rode Wireless Micro. At first I thought, you know, it's kind of an okay, but this is a really interesting addition, especially if you're doing any content online and you want to record. One of the reasons I also got this Pixel is because it doesn't have headphone jack, which means that you can use audio input and output through USB-C there, which means if you got this USB-C receiver, I can put it there and then now record video with these little microphones. And this package is so small, plug and play. Rode, you've done a fantastic job. I'm enjoying this a lot. If you want to pick any of these up, the links for these are in the description below. And please do let me know if you don't agree with me. I dare you to tell me your opinion. What are some of the best things that you feel like have gone under the radar as a creator, PC enthusiast? Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate you all. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see you soon.